Hello everyone, welcome to Transfer Talk. I've just realised I haven't put my microphone on. How about that? We'll do this really fast and pretend it didn't happen. Hello everyone, welcome to Transfer Talk. My name is Howson. This is a video where we discuss the transfers that are happening live at Manchester United and maybe around elsewhere as well. So the first thing that we're going to talk about then is the confirmed transfers. The first confirmed transfers that we've had for the summer window. We've had Fred. He's not been officially announced. It's my belief that we're waiting on only the work permit, and I think it's going to be confirmed and official after that. He went back to the Brazil squad. Everyone was giving him hugs and congratulating him and all the rest of that sort of stuff, and then Casemiro decided to go through the back of him. It looks like a pretty painful one. The doctors come out and said it's his ankle, but it does look like it's actually... well, it looked like it was his Achilles, but the doctors come out and said it's his ankle. Now, the doctor said they're waiting to see if he can train today. So I imagine that's probably going on right now. So if he's trained today, then it's going to be all good. If he's not trained today, then it might be quite bad. But they needed to give it a day to let some of the swelling go down before they can have a proper look at it. And I think he's going to be getting a scan regardless today anyway. So I'm going to come to the comments in a little bit and speak to you guys as well. The next one I'm going to talk about, obviously, is Dalot was signed and actually announced for a change. I'm expecting him to be back up to Valencia and whoever is left back. But I think he's also got the potential and the ability to make a real run at becoming a first-choice fullback for Manchester United, whether that's on the left or on the right. He played all his first-team games for Porto last season on the left, even though he's naturally right-footed. And I think the crossing ability that he's got is a real asset for United, and it's something that we've really liked. I don't think he's going to start the season anywhere near the first team as a first choice, but I think by the end of the season, don't be surprised if you're seeing him pretty regular. Right, so let's talk about the big one that everybody's here for then, and that's Antoine Griezmann. Now, when you see the sort of headlines that the MEN have put out where they say Antoine Griezmann is close to Manchester United transfer, gets everybody's attention, you go, right, let's have a look what they're saying here. And they say Antoine Griezmann is reportedly closer to joining the United than he is to making the move to Barcelona. That is a statement, isn't it? And then it says, it is claimed by Diario Gol, which is trash, which is probably why the MEN are reading it, that a transfer to Barcelona, which looked a formality for much of the season, is looking increasingly unlikely to happen. They don't even mention United in the whole article on Diario Gol. I went through it. I went through it word by word. It's in Spanish, I had to translate it. They don't make any sort of mention whatsoever of Manchester United. They're only talking about... the fact that he's unlikely to go to Barcelona. One sec, hit slate for me. Sorry about that little technical error that we had to sort out. We are back, we are sorting it. So, I don't think there's anything extra in what they're saying here in terms of what's going on with Antoine Griezmann and Manchester United. We would all love Griezmann to be a Manchester United player. Now, if he came, would he be first choice? Hang on, let's go back to the start. Would he be first choice if he came to United? Absolutely. But I think that when we didn't sign him last season and we signed Sanchez in the summer, then I think that was where Manchester United played our hand for that mould of player. Now, Sanchez and Griezmann obviously play on different sides, different flanks, but I think that they're the same sort of player in what they offer the team going forward. So I think that United played our hand with Sanchez rather than going for Griezmann, because he looked like he was either going to Barcelona or we didn't get him last summer, and I think that was the major issue. Where would he fit in if we did sign him? I think United could have a very fluid front line that plays behind Romelu Lukaku if it was how we was going to do it. But are we going to do it like that? I'm not 100% sure that's exactly how we're going to do it. I think United are going to find someone that runs at people. That's why I think we're being linked to the likes of Gareth Bale. I even think that's why we're being linked with the likes of Arnautovic, because they're not the sort of thing that you see from Greizmann. They're entirely different footballers. It's just one of those things for us, isn't it? Right, the next one that we're going to talk about then is Alderweireld. So Alderweireld, there's been a bit of an apparent deadlock with Manchester United because it seems like we're reluctant to pay more than 55 million, which is a lot of money, but in this day and age, it's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. 55 million for any Premier League proven player with that level of ability is a pretty good deal for anyone, to be honest with you. For absolutely anybody. But at 29 years of age, there's no resale value for him whatsoever. None at all. So this is going to be a one-time only play. That's why we got the likes of Robin van Persie at this age for the sort of bargain price that he comes from. And that's why you'll see someone like a Savic potentially going for over 100 million this window, or as we get to him later on when we talk about Gareth Bale, and you'll see the fee that Real Madrid are talking about for Gareth Bale. That's why you see those fees for players that have a potential sell-on value. Someone that's 29, 30, or even in the 30s, they're not going to have a resale value, and that's why the value of that player doesn't quite match up to what you're seeing for players in their 20s and stuff. So it seems like there's a apparent deadline that United don't want to pay more than 55 million. Daniel Levy's come out and said he wants him to go for the same sort of price as Van Dijk, and you can understand his logic behind that, but you also understand that United don't want to pay more than 55 million potentially for someone who is 29. He has got a 25 million pound release clause which could be activated next summer. So is it worth Manchester United waiting for 12 months and getting him at the end of the coming season? You guys let us know in the comments what you think is happening. I'm going to come to the comments now actually and see what yous are saying. So Greizmann doesn't play on the right. He's either a 9 or a 10. However, Pogba is going to fit when they play 4-2-3-1. Greizmann does play off the right-hand side. Greizmann plays excellent off the right-hand side, but you're right, he also plays as a shadow number 10. I think the way United currently set up, he would play on that right-hand side. Now, if we go back for a second to the Greizmann thing, a Reddit source also claimed that there was details of United's sleeve sponsor, that Cola, and it was leaked on Reddit before anyone had even heard of Cola, to be honest. Now, did this guy leak it because what he was hearing about Greizmann, and one of the other things he was hearing about Greizmann is that he was going to play on the right wing? Did he leak this because it was like he had one thing and he was like, bollocks, I'll just attach something else to it because everyone's going to listen to me then because there's a transfer attached to it? Or did he leak this as a whole because this is what he was hearing? In that leak, the comment from the guy was that he'd been told Greizmann was coming, he was going to play off the right hand side. Harshal, going back to Alderweireld, Harshal says anything over 55 is crazy. Apishek says we need a right winger. Do a show comparing Jose's Premier League winning sides to the current United team, says Walter. That'd make a decent video. That's probably something we should look at in pre-season. So hit me up on Twitter or DM me about that one and remind me. Is the Greizmann thing really serious, says Rayon? Well, we have to take it seriously because we know that United was severely in for the guy last season. It was only Atletico's transfer ban which made him change his mind. Right or wrong decision, that's what happened. And like I said, I think we went for Sanchez as that mould of player, not necessarily the same player, but the same mould of player in the summer because Jose wanted that sort of player in his team. And I don't think there's a need or a desire for both in the team, so I'd be very surprised. But again, I do think that there's a desire from Woodward or somebody at the club to have a big star signing every single summer. Speaking of which, let's go talk about Gareth Bale. So, a move away looked almost certain after the Champions League final, and then Zidane drops the absolute bomb that he's resigning, and that might have affected Gareth Bale's desire to leave. Any new coach coming in is going to have new ideas, and if Gareth's happy at Real Madrid except for what's going on with Zinedine Zidane, then he'd be like, do you know what? Maybe I should stay and fight for my place. Maybe this is the place that I need to be coming back to, and this is the place that I would like to play my football. If that's the case, I don't think you're getting him out of Real Madrid. If it's not the case, and there's other reasons why he's unhappy in Real Madrid, then I think the chances of you getting him are still pretty high. Now, the issue. Real Madrid, according to Spanish paper ABC, which came out today, says they're unwilling to sell him for anything less than £195 million. £195 million for a player that's... He reckons he's less injury prone than he's being made out to be, but he's still an injury prone player. That is an incredible sum of money. If it was £100 million, I would have second thoughts, because I don't know what our budget's going to be. I'd be amazed if we spend 200 million again this summer. £195 million on one player in Gareth Bale. That's a lot of change, man. What do you guys think? Gareth Bale at 190, let's call it 200 for cash, shall we? What do you guys reckon? Let me know in the comments. I'll read some of your comments out. Gungshi says Bale would be perfect for United. Jessman says 4-3-1-2. Sanchez down the middle as an attacking mid with Greizmann and Lukaku up top. Where's the width come from if you do that? If you're going to do that, then you have a really strong midfield. I mean, if you could play Fred, Matic and Pogba as the three, then I think that's going to be an excellent lineup. Or you could also call that a 4-4-2 diamond in reality. You have to have excellent fullbacks with good crossing ability to be able to do that, and I don't know if we've got that. One Mad Killer says, Alderweireld's 29 with a year left on his contract, 35 to 45 million, more than enough. 80 million max, says Kieran. 195 for Bale is ludicrous, I'm sorry. Fekir to Liverpool, we're going to talk about that when we do the roundup later, but we will talk about that one in a little bit. Fuck no, 200 million is madness, says Matthew. 100 million max, and that's Greizmann, says Tom. Why are we buying a 19-year-old when we have two talented 20-year-old defenders on loan? Gareth, the reason that we're buying a 19-year-old is because he's a fullback, and those two lads aren't fullback. I would have liked to have seen Fosu Mensah given the opportunity, but he lost his place. We've got to be honest with ourselves. Fosu Mensah lost his place at Crystal Palace to Wan-Bissaka, and he's never really been a fullback. He's a player that can play at fullback, but at heart, I think he's a number 6. I think he's a proper Ratter-style midfielder. He's pretty effective at centre-half, but he's just simply not a fullback at his best. I always hoped he would move into midfield, but he's more than capable at centre-half. And Tuanzebe is the most natural centre-half I've ever seen in my life, and he's not a fullback. So the opportunities he's got, Aston Villa, probably going to stand him in good stead. But when you play him at fullback, he's not going to get the best out of it. 4-2-2, the way we played against Chelsea, would be a very good formation for us. I agree, but again, when we're going forward, we've got to find the width. That's what we really need to do. We have to find the width, and that's where United have been let down. So, Gareth Bale, would he be first choice? Undoubtedly. Where would he fit in? I think it's pretty obvious. He fits on that right-hand side, provides the width on that right-hand side for us. What does it mean for the players in his position? Juan Mata, I think, is very, very likely to leave, and there's been almost no talk about where he's going or if he's going this summer at all. But I genuinely believe Juan Mata is going to be on his way out the door. What does it mean for Jesse Lingard? I think Jesse Lingard could be moved back into that attacking midfield position because I believe he's better when he's played down the middle. I think when he is played down the middle, he's a phenomenal footballer, and I think when you play him out wide, you don't quite get it because he's not really that tricky winger, beat a man and get a crossing kind of guy. He's a creative workhorse that's in the middle, and I think that's where Jesse Lingard excels. Right, let's talk about Arnautovic. Oh. Did all right with West Ham, didn't he, to be fair? So West Ham are reportedly valuing, £60 million. I know, remember when like 20 million became the 10 million? And then 30 million became the new 20 million. And 40 million last season was the new 30 million. Surely 60 million is not the new 40 million. Is that going to be the standard price for an above average kind of Premier League player? Because that's all he is, really, isn't it? Now, I think if Jose Mourinho's identified that Arnautovic player style, because there's more like there's Shaqiri that we're linked with, and even if you throw somebody in the mix like a Benzema, someone who's not an out-and-out goal threat, but someone who can work off a main target man or a main striker, Arnautovic could genuinely be that guy. We're wasting Lukaku, getting Lukaku in positions where he can cross, because he should be the guy on the end of the cross. Now, if we're going to get somebody else into those positions that can find Lukaku with those crosses, Lukaku's going to start hitting 30, 35 goals next season. But we do need to have someone that's putting the ball in the box for him better than we have been doing. Maybe he sees the likes of Arnautovic on a physical upgrade of what Juan Mata offers. Obviously not a technical upgrade, but a physical upgrade on what Juan Mata offers. If that's the case, I can understand it. But £60 million for Arnautovic is an absolute... I don't care. Like the Glazers have took like 1.2 billion out of the club since they've owned us, and we've got nothing for that 1.2 billion. I would rather we spent money on the players, but 60 million for a guy from West Ham does not feel like good value for Manchester United in the slightest, doesn't it? See what you guys are saying. Rather Arnautovic than Mandžukić. Arnauto shit, says Ryan Williams. Arnautovic not needed. If possible, Mandžukić would be a great backup. Never in my life would I have him. Damn guy with like a Fellaini signing. Maybe that's why he wants him. I don't want Arnautovic, says Supervi. Lingard creative, says Vincent. Yeah, watch him. Arnautovic for 200 million, please. We need a strong bench. We do need a strong bench. We're going to be expected to compete on multiple fronts next season, and I do think a strong bench is what's going to offer that for us. And then back to an early one, Charles says Bale would be exciting, but for 200 million, that is too much. Seems like we are asked to pay twice the actual worth of any given player. I think it's because people know United have money and United pay the fees. So I think if one club phones up, they get a certain price, and United phone up, they're like, is United on the phone? Okay. 60 million for Arnautovic, mate. Pretty sure that's exactly how it went down. Angel Gomez says Anthony Flappy. Well, he's certainly not an Arnautovic style player. I don't know what the comment is, or if you're just writing player names that you like in the comments. What's the Lot's crossing like? It's excellent and it's both-footed. How much would Mandžukić cost? I would imagine not as much as what they're quoting us for Arnautovic, which is maybe why he could be someone looking. He is an Andy Carroll. Luke Daly says Chong on the right. Now, I think we're going to see I think we're going to see Chong on the pre-season tour, and I'm excited about that. And we'll definitely check that out. But let's get back onto Arnautovic. So, should we really be spending that much amount of money on someone who's literally being touted as a backup? I think there's problems in the first team. Like we've already mentioned, centre-half looking for Alderweireld. That would, to me, if it was 60 million on Alderweireld, good bit of business. 60 million on a backup Arnautovic, not a good bit of business. If it was 60 million on a left-back, someone who's going to provide something to us every single game going into the final third, good bit of business. 60 million on a backup Arnautovic, not a good bit of business. So would he be first choice? No. Where would he fit in? I think he definitely fits in either on that right-hand side, or if we're going to move to a two up front. You've got to remember we experimented big time last summer with the 3-5-2, and we didn't get a certain player. Now, whether that was Greizmann or Perisic, we didn't get one of those two, and Jose Mourinho, as soon as the season started, went straight back and played 4-2-3-1, and then latterly in the season played 4-3-3. I wonder if it's still on his mind to move to a 3-5-2, or if Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna are also thinking about moving to a 3-5-2 with United. Maybe that's why you're seeing us linked with a couple more strikers. Marcus Rashford did himself no harm last night with a goal that he scored, by the way. Righty then, let's move on, and we are going to be talking about Jan Oblak. Why are we talking about a goalkeeper? This terrifies me. The only thing that doesn't terrify me about this is that Jan Oblak is literally as good as David De Gea, and there's pretty much only him in the world that I can say that about. So Jan Oblak has got a release clause of 100 million. Is that the next best thing if David De Gea is to go? He's also 2 years younger. Currently plays in arguably the best defensive side in the world, but he's also got a massive part to play in that. Do you think he could cope at United? Do you think he's good enough to play for United? And I'll tell you why we're talking about Oblak when I get to the outs. Because one of the outs that we are talking about is David De Gea. It's happened. It's the same as Ronaldo stuff, innit? I was going to have Ronaldo as one of the graphics up on the side there that we're talking about for a player that's rumoured to be in. But you know what? We're wasting our time, because in 2011, we was linked to Cristiano Ronaldo having moved to United. In 2012, we was linked to Cristiano coming to United. In 2013, they were saying, is this the year that Cristiano Ronaldo finally comes back to United? And I actually think there was very realistic rumours about him coming prior to Fergie retiring in 2013. And then every summer since, 14, 15, 16, 17, and could we go a summer without it? Absolutely not. So we are getting linked to Ronaldo at the moment, and I, for one, am not giving it any credence whatsoever. The problem is, David De Gea is the big rumour going the other way that we have to pay credence to. We have to think about David De Gea going to Real Madrid, because it basically almost happened, but for a corrupt email file. Simple as that. Jan Oblak. Good choice for United if David De Gea has to go. What do you guys reckon? Let me know in the comments. I'll read some of these comments out. We need a centre-back with a left foot, ideally, if we do switch to a free at the back, says One Mad Killer. That's a good comment. Ronan Murphy says Jan Oblak is world class. He would be wasted as a backup. I do agree with that to an extent. Oh, hold on, we've got some breaking news here that we're going to talk about. I'll come to this in a second once we finish talking about Jan Oblak, and it's about a winter break. Keep that on screen for us. Get Oblak for the league and the FA Cup. We're going to be talking about Big Dave in a second when we talk about the outs. But I'm going to talk about this now before we hit our next transfer target, if Cam stops messing around with it. All right, it's not breaking news. We'll come to it in a minute. It looks like there's some breaking news been announced for the winter break. Here we go. So Premier League winter break confirmed for the 2019-20 season. That's really hard to say, actually, as they reveal a first 10-day breather between using a weekend split of games. Scroll down. Let's see what they're saying. Glenn is convinced the result will be better performance for English sides in the Champions League and improved tournament results for the Three Lions. He says it's not a panacea, but every big country has some form of winter break. Everyone is a winner in this. You see it in a better rested players and a better Champions League knockout performances. England players will be more rested for major tournaments. I completely disagree with him. Yes, there is a winter break in other countries, but they also don't have a League Cup either, which I think helps and reduces some of the requirements in terms of fixtures that are played. But also, these countries, no one was calling for winter breaks to benefit English teams in the latter stages of the Champions League when English football dominated it from 2005 to Chelsea's win in 2012. Nobody was saying, oh, we need to have a winter break because we can't do it. We'll have a look at the split for this weekend thing. But basically, there's a weekend in February and you get a week off. So it's 2 weeks off. It's fucking nonsense. Let's see what you guys are saying. If De Gea leaves, Oblak is the only serious choice. I'd like to see Donnarumma because our goalkeeping staff is unreal and he could help develop. Our goalkeeping staff is pretty good. Oblak catches very less. That is one obvious flaw in his game. So the distribution on the counter-attack is affected. Oblak catches. Oh, there we go. Same comment. Oblak was unreal against Arsenal, and Real are getting Courtois, so we're fine with Dave. Oblak, unreal goalkeeper. If Dave is going to go eventually, he is as good as there is out there, and someone's just got Edwin van der Sar and loads of fists. Fair play. Righty then. So let's talk about the final in that we're going to talk about is Clement Lenglet. Valued by transfer market around half of what United are looking to have to pay for Alderweireld. He might be a wiser buy. Now, I say this quite often that I think that when you see the breadth of players that United are linked with in a transfer window, I think some of those are first choice, some of those are second choice, and some are probably third choice if we're being honest with ourselves. I think Lenglet is very much the third choice or second choice behind Alderweireld. I think Alderweireld is our number one. I do wonder where Umtiti came on this list prior to him signing his contract with Barcelona, if there was any interest in him whatsoever. But trust me, Lenglet is an absolutely belting centre-half. We saw him when Sevilla came to Old Trafford. He was excellent. So Barcelona have been keeping tabs on him for a while, but Umtiti's new deal as well might mean that they stick with him. That might have been part of the contract negotiations with him. So it seems like he's more likely to move to United. If Barcelona are still interested, what do you guys reckon? Could United still realistically get the guy? He's only 22. Is it better to go with someone younger like that? Or do we need the experience of somebody like an Alderweireld? Or could we be looking for both? Because Jose seemingly reportedly not happy with not being able to play Bay as much as he was hoping to towards the end of the season. What would you say? What do you guys think? Would he be first choice? Where does he fit in? It's pretty obvious. He fits in at centre half. And what does it mean for players in his position? I think Chris Smalling is very much on the out, even though he was one that was played a lot by Jose Mourinho towards the end of the window. I think I would probably keep Jones around as a backup, but I would like to see Lindelof given the opportunity to start alongside Bayer. I think he was really deserving of that towards the end of the season. Hope he has a good World Cup, and we'll see what it means on the end of that one. John Musa says, what about Sandro? Nothing's changed since last week, mate. There's been no update on him, so we've just took him out of there this time, and we'll talk about him as and when there's an update. Adam says, if we're in the market for a centre-back, surely we have to get rid of some. Rojo, Smalling, Jones. Yeah, I do think we're going to get rid of some. I completely forgot about Rojo, to be honest with you. I do think Rojo is liked by Jose Mourinho. I think his injury problems towards the end of the season have been an issue, but one of those. One Mad Killer says, Lenglet would be great, left-footed, and look at Bay. Wasn't a big name, and he's young like Lenglet. But yeah, he's got Champions League experience. He's got first-team level experience at the highest level. This is a top player. He was in our centre-halves video. If you've been watching the transfer shortlist videos that I've been doing, he's in there, so he's definitely one to be checking out. Right, let's talk about the outs. Oh, we've got to talk about Big Dave. I don't like this. So David De Gea, reports are starting to surface once more that Real Madrid are going to look to pursue David De Gea this summer. As mentioned, United are supposedly looking at Oblak as a replacement. He would be certain to become the most expensive goalkeeper of all time. Transfer market volume at 70 million at the moment. Banger one in front of that. He ain't going for anything less than a world record goalkeeping fee. Or he's got to go for like twice what we paid for Pogba, or you can sling it as far as I'm concerned. People still talking about Longley in the comments. I don't even want to really dig into this David De Gea rumour, because I would like to live in denial, if that's all right with all you lot. I would like to just pretend that it's not happening, and I would like to just bury my head in the sand, because for me, he's the best in the world. Oblak is up there, but I think David De Gea is the best in the world. Can says, Big Dave isn't going anywhere. Tony Marshall says the release clause makes him a bargain. I think that's talking about Longley. David De Gea, 200 million, says Abhishek. If Dave would leave in, he would have gone by now, surely. Well, he nearly went, didn't he? He was very close to going. People are still talking about defenders that are on the way out. Right, let's talk about the last out. So, Fellaini. He's still here, sort of. I'm pretty sure he's cleaned his locker out, but he's still technically a United player. He's out of contract at the end of this month, but reportedly still has an offer on the table from Manchester United. So there's a small chance he might not be going. It seems to be a question of who's going to pay him the most. He's probably got an offer on the cards for, I don't know, $1 billion in China. But there's also talk of AC Milan, PSG, and supposedly Arsenal. I swear to God, I would piss my pants if he goes to Arsenal. After the way they go on about the beautiful football they play. There's Fellaini holding the shirt. What do you lads reckon? Where is Marouane Fellaini going to end up? Or is Manchester United going to convince the guy to sign an extension to his contract? F off Fellaini, says John. Fellaini to Arsenal, says Anudra. No Dave transfer. The human microphone, says Aidan. De Gea only has 2 years left on his contract, says Bob, so that's a problem. Abhishek says, stop talking about Fellaini. Oh, can't make it out. Fellaini to Ajax. That's an interesting one. That's not one I've seen linked before. Pray he goes to Arsenal, would be a big laugh, that, says Scott. I absolutely agree. Right, we're going to wrap it up there. But listen, thank you for tuning in. Throughout the World Cup, we're going to be bringing you plenty of transfer and World Cup content. We've got match previews, we've got tactical analysis, scout reports. We're going to be doing this weekly transfer video every single Friday lunchtime. We've also got a new show called Meat Pie, which is going to be every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 9 live throughout the World Cup. It's going to be a little bit of chaos. The reason that we've been able to increase both the frequency and the quality of the videos that are on this channel is, one, we've got a lot of interns in, and they're pretty good, some of them. Most of them, they're all pretty good actually, but the main reason for that is from the Patreon group. There's almost 500 people in the Patreon group, and the support that group has allowed us to do, the support that group has given us has allowed us to increase the budget that we've had to bring in interns and to increase our equipment and everything, and even the studio that I'm sitting in now. So them guys get a little bit of a kickback. We've got a private members group, they get exclusive videos, and they also get the inside track on anything that I'm hearing in terms of transfers. If you would like to become a part of the Patreon group, then the link is in the description below. Go and check it out and see what some of the benefits are. If you don't want to join, you can join from $1 a month. The main one is a $5 a month, so think of it as just buying us a pint if you like the content. I've got 14 videos coming out next week, and it's going to be on a similar sort of vein for the entirety of the World Cup. There is a bit of a mini-series that gets released tomorrow. There's going to be 4 videos coming out, and that is the dark horses that I have for the World Cup, and then after that will be the favourites, and then we've got previews, tactical previews, and as I mentioned earlier, the meat pie all coming out as we get into the World Cup stuff. So listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Welcome to the Stephen Howson Football Channel. This is where I will take you through everything that I do revolving around football, be it that at Old Trafford or elsewhere. This is where you will get your match previews, your reviews, your football vlogs, your scout reports, your transfer talk, your youth reviews, your documentaries, and anything and everything revolving around football. I absolutely love this game. Do me a favour and subscribe. Thank you for watching.